A lot of people don't know that. That's actually a really good point he just brought out. What up, y'all? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur, helping you close deals through proven real estate investment strategies. Listen, I wanted to put this video out because I just came across this video and I thought the title was really enticing. I don't know the guy. He calls himself the real estate trapper. I want to hear from his perspective why buying rental properties will not make you rich.
Subscribe now.
Let's go ahead and jump into his video.
First, let's start out by talking about the ways that you can actually acquire a rental property. The first way, paying 100% cash. The second way, putting 20 to 25% down using a conventional loan to buy the property. Or the third way, using an FHA or VA loan, putting down 2.5 to 3% for the FHA and 0% on the VA loan.
All right, so he missed one. You could always buy real estate creatively as well through seller financing. If you use the creative real estate investing strategies, you can get involved with little to no money out of pocket. If you want to check out the creative real estate side of the business, check out my hybrid wholesaling program. I'll be sure to link it in the description box for you.
I'm going to use the FHA program to put down 2.5%.
So right off the bat, he's talking to a conventional style buyer, your everyday buyer. He's not talking from an investor's standpoint. He's going to give you an example from an FHA standpoint. He's talking about an everyday homeowner or an everyday person that's going to go out there and try and purchase rental real estate, which is probably the way he's done it, in order to be able to build a rental portfolio. If you're doing things that way, number one, you're more than likely you're going to pay top dollar for real estate. Number two, you're going to have to come up with 20 to 25% down on each property, which is very difficult to do. And number three, it to me is the hardest way to invest in real estate. So let's see what he's talking about.
Every year, which you can use FHA every year. So what I did was I moved into a house, put down.
A lot of people don't know that. That's actually a really good point he just brought out. You can use FHA all the time, every year. A lot of people hear about the first-time home buyers program. It's not necessarily a first-time home buyers program because you can get a first-time home buyers loan, which is basically an FHA loan. It's not necessarily, that's just a fancy way of saying FHA loan, every 3 years. If you're going that route, that to me is not the best route to take as a real estate investor, which is why he's probably saying that rental real estate will not make you rich. Of course, if you're paying top dollar for real estate, you're putting 20% down and you're only making a couple of $100 a month off of that house, it's going to be difficult for you to do it.
2.5%. Living it for a year, moved out, bought another home, rented that house out.
So he house hacked his way. Not a bad way to do it. You can only get 10 houses when you go through a regular bank. Then you have to start getting more and more creative. If you try to get more than 10 houses, it's going to be very, very difficult with these types of loans.
Now, here's what people don't talk about, and here's why rental properties will not make you rich. So let's take a property, for example, that I own that was $200,000. That property, the mortgage on it was $1,100. Once you add the HOA fee, it brought me to $1,200. In that neighborhood, I can rent the property out for $1,600 a month.
That's another thing. So he's buying houses. He's not buying them in distress. He's paying top dollar. And if you're buying in areas where there's an HOA, naturally you're going to pay more. If you can't get more money on a rent, then it wasn't a good investment. So he's not looking at it from an investor's standpoint. He's looking at it from a homeowner's standpoint. And that's not how you want to do this business.
For the $400 profit per month. I know people are running around here saying, yeah, get rental properties so you can have passive income.
If you get rental property so you can have passive income, that builds up over time. If you're doing it, and I'm going to share a way how you can do it with very little money, not having to come up with the 20% or the 3.5% over and over and over again in order to accumulate a rental portfolio.
That $400 a month pans out to be $4,800.
So what he's saying is buying rental properties will ultimately cost you money, right? He's saying it's a bunch of nonsense. And I'm going to explain, I'm going to talk about this. All right. But I want to hear what he has to say.
Year. What you all don't understand is tenants tear homes up. I've seen it all. I've had 10 rental properties at one time.
That's true. Property management is probably secondary to getting a great deal. If you get the wrong tenants, you're going to continually dish out money on properties. Doesn't matter where your property is located. Tenants will destroy your house. That's why what we like to do is buy fixer-uppers, fix it up to a point where we know that no matter what the tenant does, 9 times out of 10, we're just going in there and doing cosmetic work because all of the mechanicals and all of that stuff is in good working order.
So pretty much what happens is that money that you're making every month is going to end up having to go back into the house. I had one particular property,
that doesn't happen all the time either. It's not going to be every single tenant that's going to destroy your property. You might get one out of 5 bad apples, let's just say, right? And don't quote me on that, but I'm just saying you might get one out of every few tenants that's going to destroy your property, and you're going to have to put some money into it. But again, even looking at it from that standpoint, you're still going to be ahead of the game because you got an asset, a piece of real estate that's appreciating in value. You got some cash flow coming in every single month. You got tax benefits, and in addition to that, you can literally go out there and sell the asset and get all your money back. And there's other benefits to it as well.
This same one we're talking about, the 200 grand, had a turnover of like 2 years. So the tenant would stay for 2 years and then leave. 2 years and then leave. And I'm spending $4,800 every time a tenant moves out. Why? They would tear up the gates.
So he's going back to what I just said. Again, if he's spending the money every time the tenant moves out, you got to think about it. Your property is continuing to go up in value. The average piece of real estate, especially residential real estate, is going to rise 4%, 4.5% every single year. Okay, so think about that. He mentioned, so over the course of the 2 years on $200,000, let me just pull up my calculator real quick. What are we looking at? Over the course of 2 years, he said the property he paid for was $200,000. So that's 4.5% would be $9,000, right? So look at it from that standpoint. You buy a $200,000 house. The average appreciation you're going to get on a house is about 4.5%. You could Google it. You could see it for yourself, right? 4.5% is about what you're going to get, what you're going to gain in value and appreciation over the course of 1 year. So in 2 years, he gained $18,000. So if he has to go out and every time a tenant moves out and he has to put $5,000 into it, he's still in a positive, right? So 18,000 minus 5,000 is $13,000 in a positive. You're still in a positive, and that's not including the money that you're making every single month. So right now, I'm just going to write these numbers down because I want to get back to these. So he said he paid $200,000 for a house, right? You can Google this yourself. Go to Google and just type in average appreciation for a residential house year over year. And let's just, put it in the comments. Let me know what you guys come up with. I looked at it not so long ago. It was 4.5%, right? So 4.5% of 200,000 is $9,000 if my numbers are correct, right? So over 2 years, that would be $18,000. If after 2 years, you're spending, let's say $5,000 to get the property spruced up again, you're still in a positive of $13,000 plus the cash flow.
Like the back gate on the property when they were taking the trash out. Normal stuff, normal wear and tear like plumbing, the roof, a window, the countertop.
Again, this is why when you buy residential real estate, it's best to do this stuff up front. You eliminate the headaches, right? So again, when we buy rentals, we do the roof, we do the plumbing, we do the electric, we rip it down to the studs on most properties, not all of them, but we rip it down to the studs and we put everything back in. This way we eliminate having a roofing problem, a window problem, a plumbing or an electric problem. We eliminate all of the mechanical stuff that's going to cost you a lot of money, and we simply focus on the cosmetic stuff at that point. But if you don't do it up front, guess what? You're going to have a headache. If you do it up front, you're going to eliminate the headache. And if you don't do it, you're not buying into stress, especially if you're paying top dollar for an FHA property and the property needs some work. Chances are you're not going to get an FHA loan if a property needs work. But let's continue listening to his video.
Things like that, right? That people don't take into account. They think they're getting this passive income, and if you have a renter for a year, let's say you might make $5,000 in a year, you got to put that $5,000 right back into the house.
Again, he's looking at it from a home buyer's standpoint with the intention of getting an FHA loan to buy rental properties. To me, that's not the best way to build a rental portfolio. The best way is to buy in distress, put the money into it, get into it so that you recycle the same money over and over and over again, and you're into these deals with no money out of pocket. I'm going to explain exactly how to do that. Keep watching this until the end. All right. Another way to do it is to buy creatively, get my hybrid wholesaling program in order to learn how to do it that way. That's seller finance, and that's lease options. That's using subject to, that's wraparound mortgages, things like that. Get my hybrid wholesaling program, and you can learn everything you need to know about that.
Now, hold on. I got some soft body that's about to hop in the comments and say, well, why didn't you put down 20% so that you can make a larger spread?
This is actually a really good video, man. I'm happy I came across this video. I like the humor he's using. I think you should check out what else he has on his channel.
So now let's just break down putting down 20% on a $200,000 property. That's 40 grand. How long would it take me to make back that 40,000?
Of course, if you have to save up $40,000, the average person is extremely hard for the average person to save up $40,000 to continue to buy rental real estate. So it's going to be hard to build up your portfolio that way.
That would take 10 years. 10 years just for me to make back $40,000. That's not real money. That's not real money. That's not real money.
But if you look at the appreciation of a $200,000 house over 10 years, chances are you're probably going to get close to doubling your money based off of what you paid for the property. Don't hold me to that. But my point is, you're going to gain appreciation. You're going to gain some cash flow. You're going to make money on a piece of real estate. It's better than having your money sitting in a bank doing nothing. All right. You should start businesses and buy real estate. That to me is the best way to build real wealth.
Let me explain something to you. During this housing bubble that we have right now, the average home owner that bought a home 10 years ago, they've only gained $100,000 in equity. That's not real money. That's what a lot of you all fail to realize. So
and he's speaking from, he's stating some facts, right? All right. $100,000 is not a lot of money, but how many of y'all watching this right now can save $100,000? Let's be honest. How many people watching this right now can save $100,000? So if you look at it from a different standpoint, you got one property that you can gain $100,000 for without doing any work, then you're winning, right? You didn't have to work to save the $100,000. You let the property do the work for you. I would rather put up $40,000 on a property to gain $100,000 that I didn't have to work for than to put up $40,000 or to spend the $40,000 on something else that is not going to benefit me long term. That's just my 2 cents on that. How do you guys feel about it? Leave a comment in the comment section.
You're going to put all this money into a property and all this attention and all of this headache into a property just to make $100,000? No.
Again, you didn't work for the $100,000. It's not the same as waking up in the morning, having to go out and save up $100,000. This is a property doing the work for you. So that's why it's called investing, right? And again, if you're paying top dollar, then you're not doing it the right way. You're hustling backwards at the end of the day, because the real way to do it is to buy these properties with equity already in them. All right, we're going to talk about that. Again, keep watching.
You need to start a business. The reason being,
I agree with that. Start a business. What did I just say a minute ago? Start a business and buy houses. That's how you make money.
Is you can make $100,000 a month in the business with way less headache. So for example, I have 3 businesses. One, I'm a real estate agent. So in the months of March, April, May, June, July, August, I was bringing in $20,000, $25,000 a month as a real estate agent. My ATM business, I was bringing in $20,000, $25,000 a month with my ATM business. The car business was bringing in $30,000 a month. So here I am making almost between $70,000 and $80,000 a month from businesses. And here you have these homeowners who own these homes for 10 years and they only brought.
So again, yeah, we can make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a month as business owners, but what are you doing with the money? All right. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. Right. So what are you doing with the money? Because you can go out there and you can, spend all of the money up. I've done this, right? I've made a lot of money. I blew a lot of money and then I made it all back. Right. The whole point is, what you do with the money is what's going to make you wealthy. So you park the money in things like real estate to continue to work for you. Again, I'm going back to the point that you could put $40,000 into a house and that house can make you $100, $200, $300,000 over time. That house can provide you with some cash flow. Either way, you're still not coming out of your pocket. And if you do it right, you won't be into these properties with no money. All right. But if you make 300,000 and you spend 300,000, guess what? You're back to zero. You got to start all over again. So why not take the 300,000, or in his case, let's say the 100,000, and park it into something that's going to keep making money on it? That to me is the best option. So yes, start a business, use the business, which is active income, to be able to create passive income. Your business could be wholesaling. Your business could be fix and flip. Your business could be a laundromat. Your business could be anything, a car wash, or whatever. Your business could be an art store. But the whole point is, use that as a tool to be able to build more assets over time. That's going to create more wealth for you.
Everybody thinks that owning a rental property is passive income. Now, I know people are going to hop in the comment section and they're going to say, well, the wealthy people own real estate. They own commercial real estate.
That's true. But, and I'm going to leave myself out of this, but I know tons of people that own single family real estate that's very wealthy as well. All right. So you got to look at that. You got to take what he's, saying right there and kind of apply it to your own situation. Because I know tons of people that own residential, and I know tons of people that own commercial. And in both cases, obviously, commercial is going to be a different monster. Commercial is going to provide you with way more wealth. But most of them started off in residential and elevated themselves into commercial real estate. All right.
So you, as an individual, most likely, the average person is not getting to that level. So you may own one or two rental.
The average person won't get to that level because they won't push hard enough. I think anybody can do it, though. Especially once you get 2, 3, 4 houses going, you start building this momentum. If you do it the right way, if you have to save your way up, say save up, he mentioned, save up $40,000 to keep, it's going to be impossible to do that. That's not how you play the game. All right. Again, thinking from an investor standpoint, not a conventional standpoint.
So you may own 1 or 2 rental properties. You're not going to make that much money. It's not going to make you rich. It's not.
And it's true. Owning 2, 3, 4 rental properties won't make you rich, but you'll still be in a better position than you were when you first started. And you'll never be able to think about it like this. Using his example, right? $200,000 home. You buy 5 of them. That's $1 million, right? You pay on those properties for 10 years, or your tenant pays on them for 10 years, right? And let's say they only go up to $300,000 each. You just gain $500,000 in value on your properties over a 10-year time frame. Most people won't even save that much money in their lifetime. $500,000, right? On top of that, you got money that you're putting into your pockets every month. Then you pay down the mortgage, which basically means you're gaining even more appreciation. So if you, after 10 years, you sold those properties, let's say after 10 years, you paid off $50,000 on each house, right? And you're down to $150 on each house on 5 houses. How much is that? 15. Let me just do the math here. So it's 200,000. What is that? 750,000, I believe. I'm just pulling up my calculator. 150 times 5, $750,000. And let's say, again, it goes up in value and you're at $1.5 million. So $1.5 million, using my numbers, minus 750, that looks like $750,000 that you just made in 10 years to me, right? Plus, that's not including the rent. That's not including, anything, the tax benefits and things like that, right? 750 grand is not, a little bit of money to scoff at, right? For the average person, right? So that's kind of the way you got to look at it. You can try to save that, but chances of that happening in 10 years on, the average person is making what, $40,000 to $50,000 a year. The chances of you saving up 750 grand in 10 years is slim to none, right? So the best way to do it is to park that money into something that's going to appreciate in value for you. All right.
I know everybody's thinking, well, if you hold it for 30 years and then sell it, that home in 30 years will not appreciate $500,000 or $1 million. It won't happen.
That depends on it depends on the area. That's area specific. Now he's speaking very generically, which I agree with. I'll give you an example. When I first started in real estate 20 years ago, a brownstone in Fort Greene, Brooklyn was going for right around $800,000 to $900,000, give and take. You could have found a deal for $500,000 to $600,000. Those same brownstones are $2 to $3 million now, right? But if you go to a different market, let's say here in North Carolina, the average house, 10 years ago, let's just say, was probably going for, $180 to $100,000. They're probably going for 150 to 200, right in that range right now, right? So you might make 100,000, but you're not, like he's saying, in most markets, you're not going to make that big lump sum. But if you accumulate multiple properties, that number adds up over time. All right. So if you're looking at it from a small number standpoint, then yes, you're not going to get rich. But this is why it's a business. You have to keep accumulating more properties until you're satisfied.
From businesses, I'm making it in almost 3 months, and you're making it in 30 years.
Again, you got to park that money somewhere, right? He's making a valid point, but you got to park that money somewhere. You can't make the money and then continue to hustle. You're not going to hustle for the rest of your life. So he can elevate what he's doing if he took the money that he's making and parked it into other assets like real estate.
And that's the reason why on this channel, I tell people you must own a business. That will make you rich a lot faster.
It's true. A business will make you the money, but it'll make you rich. He just used the key word rich. It's not going to make you wealthy though. Just to give that some substance. Basically, rich is having a lot of money. Wealth is not working for the money and the money paying you continuously over and over and over again. Passive income. The minute your income exceeds your expenses and you don't have to work for the money, that's when you're considered to be wealthy. So you can be wealthy making $5,000 a month, basically, if your expenses are $4,000. Rich is a state of mind when it comes to making money, making a whole lot of money, right? But a rich person can be broke overnight. If you own the asset will continue to pay you. You could spend $100,000. Say you had $100,000 a month coming in from rental income. You could spend $100,000 and then know that you have another $100,000 coming in that you don't have to work for. That's considered to be wealth. Rich is making $100,000 and then having to go out there and hustle for another $100,000. Right. So that's where my opinion differs a little bit with that statement. So it sounds like that's the end of his video. I'm going to cut it right there. I think he has some really valid points, especially for people that are looking to buy rental properties conventionally. You don't need to save up 3.5%. You don't need to save up 20% for each property. To me, the solution to what he's talking about, he's speaking from a conventional FHA standpoint. I'm going to speak to you from an investor's standpoint. You save the money one time, right? So using his example, his numbers, right? You got $200,000 houses. That's what you're going to pay for the property. You're not looking for the $200,000 house that you're going to pay top dollar for. You're looking for the $200,000 house that you could get for $120,000. So you're buying these houses with equity. So how did I come up with the 120? Do 200,000 times 0.7, which is 70% of 200,000 is 140. And let's say you're going to put $20,000 in work into the property just to get it up to date. That's where the 120 comes from. Okay. So now you get a $200,000 house with $80,000 in equity in it right off the bat. Okay. Then you turn around, you put the $20,000 into it and you get a $200,000 valuation on the property. You get an appraisal for $200,000. So now guess what you do? You put down, let's say you came up with $20,000 of your own money to put into this deal. Now you go to refi cash out and you pull out 140. That pays back your original lender, which you're not going to get an FHA loan. You're going to get what's called hard money or private money on a deal like this. And you're going to pay back that lender and you're going to get your $20,000 back. And you're going to keep recycling the same $20,000, doing it over and over and over again. But guess what? Now you just bought a property. It's fixed up. You got $60,000 in equity in this property. Using his numbers, let's say that this cash flows $250 every month, $0 out of your pockets, $0 out of your pockets, $60,000 in equity, and you keep getting your $20,000 back to keep recycling over and over and over again. I can do a full video on this. I've done full videos. This is called the Burr strategy. I've done full videos on this. If you want me to put a video together, let's say you had $20,000 or you had $100,000. If you want me to tell you what to do with that money, do me a favor, leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be happy to put that video together for you. But this way, you only save the money one time. You get your money back over and over, and you keep recycling to build up a real portfolio. And you're dealing with hard money lenders, which you will pay money for. That's why you need a 20 grand or less. It depends on the lender. You deal with private money lenders, or you can buy these properties using creative real estate investment strategies. But you don't want to try to build a rental portfolio with FHA loans. He, at the end of the day, his name is Real Estate Trapper. He's right. You will not get rich buying rental properties if you use that method. You're paying top dollar, and then at the end of the day, you're not moving fast enough to build a real portfolio. But every single real estate investor that he spoke of doing big numbers, 500 units, even 100 units, they all started somewhere. They started small, but they had an investor's mindset. They didn't have a conventional mindset going in. So yes, Real Estate Trapper is absolutely correct in his video. You will not get rich buying rental properties if you're going to use FHA loans, but you will get rich buying rental properties if you recycle your money over and over and over again, and you're literally into these deals with no money out of pocket. So let me know what you guys think. Was Real Estate Trapper right on his understanding of, real estate rental properties, or do you have a different opinion? Make sure you subscribe to the Real Estate Trapper. I don't know him again, but I think that this was a pretty good video, especially for people to, if you're going into real estate with a conventional mindset. I think you can learn something from that. But let me know if you have any feedback on this particular video. What's your thought process? Hope you guys benefited from this video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.